I found something on my wife's laptop that I shouldn't have. When I showed it to her mom, she told me to immediately call the cops on her daughter. I thought my wife was the most honest and hardworking person on earth, but I don't know how I'm supposed to tell my kids what their mother planned to do to me. I met my wife right in the middle of my 20s. I was fresh out of college and working as an intern at a highly praised tech company that I can't name for legal reasons. I wasn't getting paid for the internship, so I was working at a local coffee shop just so I could sustain myself. I had one other coworker there named Amanda who told me she had been working there for 6 years. I asked her what her end goal was, and she told me she had dreams of being a freelance photographer. We used to talk about our dreams and the things that we would do if we came into money, and that's what our entire friendship revolved around: dreams. I told her all I really wanted in life was a functional family because the way I grew up left me scarred, and I had this constant yearning for a redo. Amanda and I had kissed once, but I decided not to pursue anything else with her because I knew settling down so quickly at the start of my career was a bad move. Also, I always felt guilty talking to her because I knew that I would eventually quit the coffee shop and would have a high salary position while she'd probably still be there. When it did become time for me to quit the coffee shop, I left a note on a napkin with my number saying to stay in contact and left it for Amanda. I did it as a courtesy, not thinking much would come out of it. When I got my new position, I felt finally settled and financially secure. I was able to move to a penthouse after the first 3 months, and my life seemed like it was on rise. Everything that was peaceful in my life turned upside down when Amanda showed up at my doorstep. I saw her on my Ring camera, and I was confused about how she found my address. When I asked her, she told me that she had a friend who lived in the same complex that recognized me. I would later find out this was a lie. It turned out she paid $120 online for a people search and looked me up with my phone number. She told me that very day that she loved me and had been missing me ever since I quit the coffee shop. If I could go back in time and stop myself, I would have. But I ended up confessing having feelings for her even though I didn't. I guess I wanted comfort from being alone in such a big place in a big city, so I took things further with her. I thought we had a beautiful relationship at first. She was a stay-at-home woman and would cook and clean around the place while I was at work. In return, I had a goal of helping her accomplish her dream. I bought her a bunch of camera gear and ended up setting her up with a coworker of mine who did freelance photography as a side hustle. He took Amanda under his wing and taught her everything he knew about the business, and, eventually, Amanda got her own business and started partnering with different news stations, taking pictures across the country. I remember before her first international photography trip, I told her that I wanted her to hold up her end of the deal and help me accomplish my dream. When she came back from her trip, she came back with a ring and proposed to me. Fast forward 11 years later, Amanda and I were living together outside of the city. I had moved jobs because for some odd reason, my coworkers stopped talking to me and I was recommended to be placed at a different location. My boss insisted that it was for my own good and that I had done nothing wrong. I found out later why: because my coworkers were uncomfortable around me because they knew before I did about what Amanda was up to. I didn't know anything, though, so Amanda and I were raising our 2 boys together, and they're the loves of my life. I get to work hybrid from work, and I'm able to work remotely at home most of the time so I can be with my boys. On the other hand, Amanda was always traveling in and out of the country to Thailand, Haiti, Vietnam, and Colombia taking pictures for different news outlets. When I needed help with the kids, my mother-in-law would come over and help out. Me and Amanda's mom didn't have the closest relationship, but we had a mutual respect for each other. We didn't have to necessarily like each other, but we both loved my sons, and she knew I took damn good care of her daughter. So later on, when I opened up my wife's laptop, I knew she was the only person I could trust. I was suspicious of Amanda for a couple of months at this point. She would come home past her planned arrival time, and when she did come home, she wasn't excited to see me. Every time I tried to initiate spicy time with her, she would tell me that I needed to lose weight. I had gained some from her pregnancy, but I knew I wasn't obese or anything, and that really ruined my self-esteem. I couldn't understand why my wife was being so loveless towards me. I did everything to try to please Amanda. I cooked her favorite meals for when she got back. I made sure she always came home to a clean house and a welcome back gift basket. And worst of all, I started taking Avi Clinic Elite to start putting off the weight. After a while of taking Avi, which actually made me lose weight so rapidly, I started second-guessing myself and realized that I wasn't taking these for the right reasons. My wife wanted me skinny for some reason I couldn't explain, so I decided to do some digging. One night when she came back from her trip to Thailand, I did a bit of ethical hacking to unlock her laptop. Some of you might think I'm toxic for invading her privacy. Had I not invaded her privacy, I would have been dead. When I opened up her laptop, I found a folder that said family. I opened it and found pictures of our beautiful sons. But amidst the photo, there was another folder that said babies. When I opened it, I found hundreds of high-resolution photos of multiple young men gagged up, crying, tied up in a bunch of real BDSM intimacy that my wife was having with them. She had boyfriends in Thailand and Haiti and practically whatever country she traveled to. Upon further inspection, I saw that she would make them post with the money she would give them in exchange for being her boyfriends. The worst part? She had her own hidden Twitter page where she posted all of her intimacy adventures. I kept crying as I kept looking, but I couldn't turn away from this. This woman was using all the camera equipment I bought her to cheat on me. She wanted me to lose weight because she wanted me as skinny and fragile as all her boyfriends. To think that I actually started taking Avi for her and not myself. I downloaded as much evidence I could from her laptop and imported it to a spare laptop I had to show her mother. When I showed my mother-in-law, a part of her wasn't shocked. She was slightly upset, but just sighed like she saw this coming. She sat me down and said that this was the exact same reason Amanda was kicked out of college and started working in that coffee shop. During college, she had an intimacy addiction and would sneak cameras in during intimacy and started a page on Twitter where she shared her adventures. I couldn't believe this at all. My boys were not safe with this woman, and I needed to get out of this quickly, but I needed to do things quietly. I had bags packed in secret from Amanda just in case something went south, but when she came back from her next trip, she said something unexpected. She came back with flowers and takeout dinner saying that she felt bad for not being so present in our marriage and wanting to reignite the spark between us. So she bought us tickets to Haiti to go on vacation. Immediate big red flag. I acted like everything was okay, and I agreed to go with her soon. I told her mother-in-law, and she became very pensive. Even she was confused as to why she would take me to Haiti. She asked if I checked everything from her laptop, and I said I wasn't sure. So we looked at all the files we downloaded together. We looked through the photos, search history, settings, and everything until we saw her payment history. There was a recent PayPal transaction of $12,000 to an anonymous name with the recipient being located in Haiti. I must have been in denial because my first thoughts were it was a resort over there. My mother-in-law, however, told me to call the police immediately. Before I could even ask, she ran to get the phone and called them. She ordered me to take my sons to her car, and together, we drove to her house. She wouldn't say what she figured out in the entire car ride. I was bawling my eyes out. She told me that she'd seen her work in Haiti before. She's interviewed local gangs over there, and she herself remembered reading an article about a couple who mysteriously had their lives taken from a Haitian gang. Her theory was that she figured out that I found out what I was doing and knew that I was going to divorce her soon. So in order to not get all her money taken and face prison time, she was gonna have my life taken in Haiti. So not only would she collect all of my insurance, but she would get full custody of our sons. Luckily, my job didn't need me to come into the office for the following week.